Chris Crenshaw, and we are back. And we are live from the 704 once again for episode 141 of the 815 Exchange. And well, what do we have here this weekend? I got to escape, and it was very nice. Very nice. Went on a little bit of a vacation, went off the grid a little bit, nice refresh. Felt longer than the 2 days that it was, so that was nice. But as I left and as I came back, a lot of things happened, but a lot of things are still the same. Like Frank Ocean is still a scam artist. Okay, I don't know what y'all expected. I really don't know what y'all expected. But Frank Ocean still hates his fans. NBA playoffs started. NHL playoffs start tonight. We have plenty to talk about. And of course, Coachella, like I was talking about. So plenty there. And as always, everything you're looking for can be found in the description. So, timestamps. You want to hear me talk about entertainment, everything that happened in that this weekend, and what I've been watching in that new Succession episode. Feel free to skip ahead. You want to hear me talk about the NBA playoffs in that first round? Go ahead, skip ahead, it's why it's there. Also, my social media links are provided in the description as well. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the show on the road. Simply put, let's go. And let's go to soccer. Let's go to world football first. And then we're going to go combat sports. But, of course, we got Champions League back. It's the quarterfinals, and listen, Man City just looks unbeatable, man. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it in the base, and really fresh out the intro. Graphic just popped up. I'm gonna say it right now. Man City and Real Madrid I think I said this before actually on this show, but Man City versus Real Madrid in the final. All right, just stamp it right now. Stamp it. It's gonna happen. It's destiny at this point. They are pretty clear cut the two best teams. I don't know how else to kind of shape it up for you, but they just the best. All right, the best. I got Man City, Real Madrid in the final. But anyways, for this week, Man City took on Bayern Munich, fresh off of firing Julian Nagelsmann for whatever reason. But not good for Bayern. They go down 3-0 thanks to a Rodri banger to open up. Bernardo Silva scored, and of course the machine himself, who has been in the form of his life and has been scoring just at will, seemingly. He scored a brace, and then they took him out at halftime. He tied Salah's 38-game record. He hit 32. He's going to hit 40. Seems like a given at this point. He's unstoppable. The Premier League record is his in year one. Honestly, not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. I'm not going to say or lie to you. It's not really surprising looking at the team he has around him, and him going to Man City. It's just a perfect situation for him to flourish, and Haaland has flourished and has been one of the best players in the world, which is what he is, and really the best number 9 in the world. Very much so looking like a Ballon d'Or contender if he breaks the Premier League record, which he will, and if he wins the Champions League, which he very well also do. So, Man City off to flying colors here in the QF. Inter takes out Benfica 2-0. Romelu Lukaku, even though it was a penalty this time, has been a revelation. He should never leave Inter Milan. This is the team for him, clearly. Something about when he's in an Inter, kit, it works for him. All right? Everywhere else, Lukaku and Inter, it's real now, He turns it up a little bit more. Him and Borrella get it done for Inter against Benfica. Of course, don't rule Benfica out. Only down 2-0. But, Inter definitely has that advantage. And like I said, Lukaku's been the man. Speaking of the other Milan, AC Milan took on Napoli. They got the win, and it was a really big game, 1-0. Red for Lazio, and they also had no Victor Osimhen, which makes a world of difference, though. Now, whether they can get Vic back for the second leg, I'm not sure, but that's going to be very important because they're a different team. Napoli is a different team and only down 1-0 on aggregate. Victor Osimhen has been the difference maker for this Napoli team. Even though I know they got Carla, they got all these different weapons, but Vic is the guy, right? He's been the guy. Without him, they are not the same team. Milan, they got the firepower to see this through and win this off of 1-0 aggregate. We will see what happens. It's going to be an interesting second leg. But, for the sake of competition, I hope Vic is back, but we'll see what happens. Real Madrid smokes Chelsea 2-0. Another red card in this game. Ben Chilwell was the one this time. Karim Benzema, reigning defending Ballon d'Or winner. Marco Asensio, by the way, has stepped it up big time for Real Madrid. So yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Asensio. Super hype youngster. Now a couple years ago, a lot of people kind of waned on him, but he's kind of picking it back up. So yeah, shout out to Asensio. Him and Karim get the goals. Chelsea is just in the depths of, even though Graham Potter is gone, they're in the depths of hell right now. All right, it's bad for the Blues. All right, it's bad for the Blues. There is nothing, absolutely nothing going right for Chelsea right now. And yeah, it's just been a nightmare season, an absolute nightmare season. We'll see if they can get it done against the defending champions. But I wouldn't, put too many hopes on it. But yeah, Real Madrid probably going to close it out. They went up 2-0. And to end off the soccer segment here, Mbappe and Messi finally get back in form against Lens. Mbappe ends up breaking the Ligue 1 PSG scoring record. So there you go. More history for Mbappe. Unfortunately, will probably be denied a Ballon d'Or as he really hit kind of a bad 3 games, which really shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it is. Lost, again, even though not really his fault, lost the World Cup final and got eliminated in Champions League. It's just, it's been a season of pain for PSG, which is part of the course, and a season of pain for Mbappe. But more records broken for him. His legacy continues. Now with soccer. Now let's talk about combat sports. The other of the usual intros. We had a UFC event. Not a major UFC event, but we still had a UFC fight night. I think it was in Kansas City. UFC Kansas City. Yeah, definitely, because Max told DC that he wanted some barbecue after he beat Arnold Allen. Now, I can't even be mad. Listen, I don't know what Max Holloway's chin is made of. The best really is blessed, because I don't know what Max's chin is made of. Arnold hit him with stuff that puts people to sleep. How many times have we said Max Holloway got hit with something, a kick, a punch, a jab, a hook, or whatever it is, that puts people to sleep, and he ain't go to sleep. He didn't go to sleep. Max just smiled, probably, shook it off, and then fired right back. Hell, he dropped Allen after Allen was winning that last round. It was a very good fight, by the way. He was winning that last round. Max is a psycho, so of course he's like, yeah, sure, even though I'm winning the fight, let's trade here in these last couple seconds. And he dropped Allen. After getting hammered the whole round, he goes and drops Allen like that. I don't understand it. The best is blessed, clearly. Max Holloway is a different species. With a chin made of vibranium and pressure that never ends, he's him. But he's not the champ. That is Volk. And he can't be Volk for whatever reason. So we are stuck here once again with the classic featherweight. Volk is the champ. Nobody can beat Volk. Max is the number 1 contender. Nobody can beat Max. Even though technically he's the number 2 contender because Yair, I think, is the interim champ. So we got Yair versus Volk. But nonetheless, nobody just, it's stuck. All right, the division is a very good division, but it's stuck. Arnold Allen shouldn't even lose any stock. He looked very good in this fight. He just isn't better than Max. That's all it was. Like, he looked like, okay, he could be a champ one day, but just was not better than Max. That's all it was. It wasn't like he got dominated. He just got beat. He just wasn't as good as Max. Max was just a little bit better, and that's just how it is. He didn't really lose any stock. Honestly, May gained some stock because he proved that he was like elite and he belonged, but just the best is blessed. What more can I say? What more can I say? And the co-main event of this was Edson Barboza. Now, Barboza has not been the Barboza that we've seen on the highlight reels for the past 10 years, it seems. Hasn't been that guy lately. He was down to 14th in the rankings. He was facing Billy Quintanillo. How would he do? This is a big fight for Barboza in terms of which trajectory his career is going. Is he headed towards retirement, or could he revitalize himself? And it turns out he could revitalize himself because he knocked out Billy Quintanillo in the first round. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Edson Barboza is maybe back. I'm not going to say he's back now because, again, he beat Billy Q, respectfully. But it was the best he's looked in a while. Vicious knockout. The legs, the kicks, incorporated a little bit of everything. And a little time that the fight went. Incorporated a little bit of everything. He looked like old Barboza. He went on the mic. He was like, you know what? I know I haven't been the man, but I'm back. I'm the best I've ever been. Yada, yada, yada. We will see. All right, we will see. Love Barboza, though. Great fighter. I'm gonna hold off on using the legend term too wildly, but again, will be remembered for some of his highlights. But yeah, we'll see where he goes from now. But yeah, vicious KO, Billy Cantillo. Brandon Roval also had a very, very nice a knee KO in this event. Very solid card, honestly. For a fight night, very solid card. Shout out to the UFC. And yeah, next week we got another one, so we'll talk about that then. Probably in the round because it's not a major event. But for now, the best is still blessed. Boxing. And it's very clear what I have to talk about this week. On Saturday, one of the biggest fights of the year, what they're marketing, of course, as the biggest fight of the year, goes down. Highly anticipated as two of the four princes of that once 135 division, even though they're kind of now moving up or moving down or whatever they're doing. Gervonta Davis takes on King Ryan Garcia in one of the most highly anticipated fights in quite some time, to be honest with you. Both of these fighters with a massive social media presence, for better or worse, in terms of some people's ideals, in terms of how they are rated because of their social media followings. But they also have the skills to back them up. They have the knockout power to back them up. This has all the makings of a very, very explosive fight. Very explosive fight. Both are lightning quick. Ryan is literally the Flash. That's why he got net famous. Tank, of course, is very explosive in terms of he will put your lights out. He's also very skilled. Ryan, also skilled. Ryan's also the bigger man, which we've seen give Tank some trouble in past times, i.e. that fight against Raleigh, which we all thought Raleigh was going to get murked, but had some success against Tank and kind of dissolved a little bit of the ethos around, some of that aura around Tank of this kind of wave of invisibility of, man, he might be the next great one and he just can't be stopped. He looked human in that fight. Ryan, we've seen him look human also. Seen him taking the distance. We saw him get knocked down versus Luke Campbell. We've seen Ryan Garcia through power, through adversity, like real adversity. Could that be an advantage? Especially in a fight in which he's probably going to face adversity going against somebody like Tank. Or will he take Tank or is he going to take Tank into deep waters, and how will Tank react to being rocked or getting hit with one of those classic hooks from Ryan Garcia, hit with one of those body shots? How will he react? What will happen when he gets taken into deep waters? Or maybe we won't have, a long drawn-out war. Maybe it'll just be a one-shot KO, because both of them have that capability as well. It's going to be a very, very interesting fight on Saturday. A very interesting fight on Saturday. And I'm glad it's a fight that's happening, even though it's two of the young stars in the sport. But I'm glad that it's, the best facing the best. Boxing has kind of shied away from that in recent years. The best have not always fought the best, but in spins. But here we are. Garcia, Davis. I'm glad to see it. I will, of course, be tuned in. If you had a gun up to my head and was like, hey, yo, Chris, you got to pick, I'm going to say Tank takes it. I think he's just a little bit more skilled, and I feel like he has the better chance of getting that one-shot KO that puts Ryan out. So if I had to predict, I say maybe, Tank gets a shot off and probably gets the KO. If I had to predict, nothing against Ryan, I still think he's very talented. But if I had to predict, I'd probably go with that, Tank taking it by KO. But we'll see. All right, we'll see. I can see it going either ways. I think this fight's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are anticipating. I've been saying that to everybody who's asked me about it. And I will say it here again. All right, this fight is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking it's going to be. Tank is not going to run over Ryan. That's not what's going to happen. I know he's a favorite. I know y'all are used to hearing about all that stuff, and you think that Ryan, some of y'all, for some reason, have never watched him, think he's just an internet fighter, but he is not just an internet fighter. He will hurt Tank, and that is almost a given. So, we gonna see. We gonna see. But yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. Y'all can let me know who y'all got in the comments. But Tank by KO, that's my prediction. We will see what happens, but we will be tuned in on Saturday. Entertainment. Okay, let's go. Succession, yes, Succession episode 4. Listen, it's really truly sunk in now because it's legitimately now the main plot point. Logan Roy is dead. Okay, he's dead. All right, I'm not even gonna put a spoiler alert on that. You should know by now. All right, he's dead. Okay, I can't believe it, but he's gone. Okay, he's actually gone, and now we have descended into utter chaos. Like we all probably expected, the kids are falling apart. All right, I mean, Shiv's been falling apart this entire season, but we also found out the reason for that. But yeah, the kids' war has begun. Even though they're trying to, be on the same side, it has begun. You can already see the cracks. You can already see the dysfunction. It's already happening. We had to figure out who's going to take over the company. Ended up with the 3 of them in the room discussing it. Shiv, you know what? I'll give her credit. We're so used to the past 3 seasons, seeing her try to bulldoze her way into the company. Especially when she got the support of Logan, just kind of, without the experience, without any of that, just kind of trying to bulldoze over her siblings and just kind of be like, yeah, it's because I'm me, I'm Shiv Roy, I should be this. However, she backed out. She backed out in this episode, and I will give her credit. However, Shiv is going through it because we found out in the opening scene that she is pregnant. So that is why she's crumbling, along with the fact that she's divorcing Tom, and she's realizing how much she relied on Tom. It was just a bad episode, alright? She was just taking L's, the pregnancy, falling down the steps. She's just in a constant state of emotional turmoil. Shout out to Sheriff Snook, though, because she's absolutely bodying the role. But yeah, Shiv is just down horrendous. Kendall is a killer, alright? He is a killer, even though he was very much so hung up about the fact that he was once on the paper, though we don't know if it was underlined or crossed out, okay? But he was happy he was on the paper, but he turned into a killer. Which also we found out that his middle name is Logan, so his initials are KLR, which is very close to killer, which is what his dad wanted him to be, and we saw Kendall become a killer in that last episode as he literally said, yeah, release all the bad father stuff. After Roman, who's the only child with any ounce of empathy sometimes, even though it can be a fault, I guess, decided to protect his dearest father because he's still trying to find somebody to mourn with him, to be honest, but doesn't know how to, of course, emotionally voice that. Kendall says release it in the end, and just to screw over and kind of help change our power, even though going against Roman's wishes. We'll see how that pays out. But yeah, Roman, of course, he was COO, so he gets to partially take over the company because it makes sense, from that perspective. Kendall has the experience because, he was the groom's successor and, has loads of experience once again doing this. So him, Roman take over the company. They're supposed to have Shiv in. We'll see if she gets fucked or not. Good to see everybody come back. Just everybody kind of wipe around. All the past characters show up. It was like the vultures coming around the dead carcass, to be completely honest. That's exactly what it was like. Connor being Connor. Willa is being Roy now. So that's great to see. Marcia versus Carrie was hilarious. Marcia just shows up out of nowhere. Says her and Logan were still talking. But yeah, she just showed up, came for the bag, sold the apartment for like $70 million to Connor, who just blows money like that. And yeah, she came, she got the bag, she, cooked Carrie, sent her home back to her little apartment, as she said, in an Uber. And it was just, yeah, a Marcian masterclass, to be honest. But yeah, Succession, best show on television. What more can I say? And yeah, just it's crazy. All right, it's getting hectic. It's getting very, very hectic. We will see what happens next. I finished The Night Agent. Worth the hype. Very, very good. Can't wait to see what happens next with Peter and Rose. See if Farr comes back, this time in jail. But yeah, it was very, very intriguing to see. Good to see them fall. It's a very good show. Deserves the hype and the recognition and all the accolades. Can't wait for season 2, but yeah, Peter and Rose forever. Night Agent, very good. It's got my cosign. Music, yes, we actually have music this week, besides Coachella. Aitch dropped Round 2. It's a very good single. Listen to a little bit of it, not too much. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. Always rate Aitch. Drop some good stuff. But yeah, Round 2. Dropped it. I think it's just a single. I don't think it's got anything new coming out. Album-wise, I could be wrong, but yeah, Aitch dropped Round 2, very good. Now let's talk about the real thing in music, alright? And that, is, of course, is the biggest music festival on God's green earth. or at least the most popular, and that is Coachella. All right, the deserts. Okay, thousands and thousands of people have flocked to the desert once again because it is that time in April yet again where everybody goes to see some of their favorite music artists. Some of the greatest in from this week that I saw: Metro Boomin, his set Friday, fantastic. Brought out everybody. I mean, P. Diddy, The Weeknd, 21 Savage, Future, Don Toliver. I mean, he brought out everybody. Everybody and their mama. Alright? It was fantastic. I wasn't even going to stay up. I was going to try to catch like the highlights of his set, but I ended up staying up and watching the entire set. So shout out to Metro because it was a great set. Once again, another showcase of him being, you know, greatest producer of our generation. Interesting to see what happens and what he pulls out for Weekend 2. But nonetheless, it was super dope to see kind of Metro do his thing and just kind of get his flowers. So yeah, shout out to Metro Boomin. Great stuff for him. Let's see. Bad Bunny, he was the headliner on Friday. Benito did his thing. Yeah, quality stuff, plenty of Latin expression. And of course, he has hits upon hits upon hits upon hits. So yeah, Bad Bunny did his thing. He, you know, 2 of the headliners held it down this weekend. All right, 2 of them held it down to the highest order. But not all of them. But we'll get to that. Kenny Beats also. This was on Saturday, I believe. Kenny Beats had a really good set. Got to give a shout out to him. On that main stage, they had an insane like back to back. Charlie XCX went off. Then Rosalia put on a hell of a performance. Even though she was, I mean, the heat apparently was OD. She was tired, but she powered through. Her and Raul, she got Raul up, her fiance, and also a very good artist in his own right. On stage, but her camera work, set design was fantastic. Shout out to La Rosalia, and of course Blackpink. It was in your area. Blackpink is the revolution. I don't know what else to tell you. They are the revolution. They are the best in the game. They are the biggest in the game. An incredible, legendary set. Yeah. First half had to do with a little bit of audio issues with the not the handheld, but with the, you know, clip on mic. But once we switched, I don't know, it seemed like the energy just shifted. Once they hit their solos, the energy just shifted, and it was like, that was the moment I pinpointed. I was like, yeah, they're them. They're them. Yep. When they went to the handheld, Lisa during Money, I mean, my God. My Lord. What a woman. What women. Rose during Tyler, listen, just Jisoo in the flat, listen, Jenny just being, listen, it was a legendary set for Blackpink. They held it down. And of course, yesterday, Kali Uchis had a great set, I saw, and Jackson Wayne brought out Sierra. Like, out of nowhere, by the way. Out of nowhere. I would have not expected that collab. But they were moving like they had a whole collab tape. Like, Sierra absolutely bodied it because, it's, of course, it's CT. You know what I mean? Jackson is a fantastic dancer. And, you know, had a very intricate set, told a great story, did really good. Shout out to him. DPR had a good set, I know, at the very end of the night. But, of course, the headliner was supposed to be Frank Ocean, who naturally showed up 15 minutes late, stopped his set early because of curfew, was not on stage for most of his set, was lip-syncing some of his songs, just looked overall bored and like he had other places to be, which is about par of the course for Frank Ocean, who is a hell of a singer and a very good artist. He's made some very good music, don't get me wrong. But listen, if I'm going to be completely honest, at this point, don't pay for Frank Ocean tickets, okay? If you want to give away thousands of dollars, just give it to me. Just send the money to me. It'll be worth more than actually paying to go see Frank Ocean at this point. I'm going to be completely honest. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. He is a legendary scam artist. I mean, an all-time great scammer. All-time great scammer. All-time great scammer. Now, you can say it's because of the mental stuff. Sure, fine. He didn't have to do Coachella. He still said yes, signed the contract, whatever it was, and gave a garbage performance. To be brutally honest, it was not a good performance. But what did we expect? It's Frank Ocean. We'll see what happens week 2 if he even shows up, but, you know, I'm sure the rest of the people will hold it down. But we'll see what happens. Coachella, you know what it is. Influencer Palooza, you know, fit picks, all that stuff. It's Coachella, all right? You know what it is. But we had some great performances, so shout out to them. We'll see what happens week 2, and we'll talk about that for entertainment next week on 142. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the main event, and that, of course, is the National Basketball Association playoffs. First round, all right? We had the play-in also this weekend, so I'll talk about that here and there when I can get into it. But we will go through all of these first round games and show some love. 76ers take out the Brooklyn Nets 121-101. Joel Embiid, 25-6. Some light for the process and probable MVP of the league this year. Some light. James Harden, though, my, 23 and 13, 13 assists, 7 threes. On the box score, it didn't look like he had the most efficient day because he only hit 8 shots from the field, but 7 of them were threes, so my goodness. But yeah, Harden, he was that guy. Also, no Tobias Harris slander, no Toby slander this week. He had 21 points, a very good 21 points. That helped once again lift Philly to this 20-point win in game 1. Mikal Bridges, however, is that guy. You better believe it. He is a foundational piece for the Nets going forward. And again, not really surprised. We kind of predicted this because Mikal has always been a really good player. But now he's got more of the spotlight. He is the guy with the Nets. And honestly, he's looking like he could possibly be the guy. So, yeah, shout out to Mikal. He had 30 in this game, led all scores, but it wasn't enough. The Sixers are just that much better. Boston takes out ATL 112-99. This game was all over the place. Listen, Jason Tatum, I know he's the guy, he's the superstar, but listen, it's 1A, 1B. When you talk about the Celtics duo, it should be 1A, 1B from now on. JB had 26 and 12, 1B. JT had 25 and 11, 1A. All right, 1A, 1B. They're very close to the same level. Let's give JB his respect. That's all I'm saying. Not that JT is not a superstar, but you know what? We need to give JB his respect. All right? They're a great duo. I remember a lot of people were like, can they play together? Can they play together? Yes, they can play together. They can play at a high level. And when they play this well is when Boston is their most dangerous. Derek White also chipped in with a big 24, 5, and 7. He played great, and I'm going to be completely honest. Trae Young was non-existent in this game. He was not. I mean, he had a nightmare. Whether it was D. White or whoever it was they had on Trae, they had Trae in hell. All right, he was in the depths, okay? Because it was just a nightmare for him. DeJounte Murray, also not a great night from 3, which is the reoccurring theme here for the Hawks. He had 24, 8, and 6, but it went 0 for 6 from 3. And the Hawks as a whole went 5 for 29. You are not going to win a game in the NBA in the year 2023 when you go 5 for 29, 17% from 3. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It did not happen, especially for a team like the Hawks, who rely semi-heavily on the 3. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work, especially not against the Celtics. They play great defense, so yeah, shout out to Marcus Smart. Derek White did a great job on Trae, and on DeJounte, whether that was JB or JT. They locked up. Celtics get the win in game 1. The New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's going to be one of the most interesting series, clearly. Game 1 goes to the Knicks, yes. The best defensive team in the league got nullified, got nulled by the Knicks. They win 101-97. Jalen Brunson has been worth every single penny of that contract. It's been night and day since the Knicks finally got a point guard again. I mean, night and day. What he's been able to do for this team. And it seems like college teammates are the cheat code this week, and we'll get back to that, more on that later. But yeah, college teammates seem to be the cheat code, okay? Because Josh Hart also had 17 and 10, outscored Cleveland's entire bench. Outscored their entire bench. One man. Absurd. Josh Hart, 17 and 10 in this game. Brunson, 27. So the Villanova boys went off. Spider couldn't be stopped. All right, Spider Mitchell could not be stopped. He had 38. I thought he was going to have 40. Okay, he was scorching hot. Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs is one of the most dangerous men on the planet. He becomes a Michael Jordan of a scorer. All right, it's different. All right, Spider is different in the playoffs. He was different in this game. Jared Allen, on paper, had 14 and 14. Evan Mobley was, on the other hand, in Alcatraz. Okay, Mobley was in Alcatraz. He looked like this is his second year, first time playoff experience. He froze. Lights got way too bright. way too bright for Mobley. And they got way too bright for everybody on that Cleveland team trying to get a rebound. Because that is what killed the Cavs in the end. That is why they lost this game. It's because they got out-hustled and they got out-rebounded. How do you have 2 7-footers on the court and get out-rebounded in the last stretch of this game the way that the Cavs did? That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. That cannot happen. Defensive Player of the Year candidate Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who had 14 and 14 in this game, can't get a rebound to save their life against the Knicks, and that ends up costing them the game. It ends up costing them game 1. Knicks flipped the series just like that. Sacramento and Golden State. The Kings made a statement, all right? They shut a lot of people up, including me, okay? And what did I say about college teammates? De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. Your turn. 38 for Fox in his playoff day. Listen. Understood. 38 for Fox, 32 for Monk off the bench. Hell, Trey Lyles, also from UK, 16 points. Sabonis, 12 and 16. The Kings had a masterful performance and were able to close efficiently. They win against the defending champs. They win against this legendary dynasty that we've seen the Warriors be, right? They are the team, right? They've been the team. It has been them, and then there's been LeBron. That has been this era, okay? Those have been the dominant teams, LeBron and the Warriors. They went head-to-head against the Warriors. The Warriors gave them a very good shot, and they took it, and then they won. They went through the fire at home, didn't get burnt. All credit due to the Kings, because they made a statement, I think, in Game 1, that this series is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people were anticipating. A lot of people were expecting, it's the Warriors, it's Golden State in the playoffs. Curry, he had 30 in this game. The Splash Bros went off. They had 51 points combined. Clay had 21. Curry had 30. Wiggins and Poole had 17, a bit inefficient, and a very questionable shot selection, 17. But they still had 17. Usually that's enough. Teams roll over. Golden State rolls on. Kings didn't roll over. They didn't bow. The Kings did not bow to the Warriors, and they met them head on, and you know what? They came out with it with a win. So credit where credit is due. Sacramento makes a statement. We'll see what goes on from there. But yeah, that series just got a whole lot more interesting. Let's talk about LA. Before we get to the Clippers, let's talk about the Lakers. They win against Memphis 128-112. Now, let's begin the Sunday games. And the Sunday games were full of injuries, okay? Because AD got hurt in this game after going off. Still finished with 22 and 12 and was able to come back. He ended up being okay. But if John Morant is out for a substantial amount of time, this Grizzlies team is dead in the water. They are finished. They are finished. They are done. All right? Ja gets hurt in this game, and that completely flipped the game. Though it wasn't the sole reason why the Grizzlies lost. I mean, Rui Hachimura having 29 might be an issue. Braun had 23, 11, and 5, but that's usual. Austin Reeves having 23 also was a little bit of a problem. Hell, deloading going for 19 and 7 also might be a little bit of a problem for you, Memphis. You're supposed to, you can't have that happen. Rui can't go for 30, Reeves can't go for 20, or y'all are going to get butchered because AD and Braun are going to be AD and Braun. And this is Braun in the playoffs. We know how that goes. This is year 20. I don't need to explain to you what playoff Braun looks like. Memphis is in trouble. They are in trouble. At least win game 1, put the pressure on the Lakers. You need to get your leg back in game 2, or you need to figure out a way to get Ja back healthy, because it is looking very scary right now for the Grizzlies. Triple J had 31, and I'm still, it's not looking good. Bane went 3 for 10. It was a bad game for the Grizzlies, and they're in a bad situation against the Lakers, who have all of the confidence in the world right now. Keeping on the superstar injuries, next up on the list after Ja Morant is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, arguably the best player on the planet, also went out with injury in this game, and once again that has shifted this series completely, because this Bucks team is not the Bucks without Giannis, clearly. Miami, who fought through the play-in, fought through some adversity, right? They, for lack of a better word, got punked. To be completely honest, they got punked by, the Hawks, punked the Heat, Then they came back, got their leg back in the eighth, in the 8th round game. That's the 8th round game. In the game for the AFC, Wayne got their leg back, got it back in blood, got the respect back. But nonetheless, still they were supposed to get butchered by the Bucks because the Bucks have been the class of the league. Well, when Giannis goes out, that changes things. And of course, Jimmy Buckets is Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler also goes to another level in the playoffs. He's just one of those guys, yeah. 35, 5, and 11 for Jimmy Buckets. Bam Adebayo, finally, Bam makes an appearance here in the playoffs. Besides, the last 2 minutes of that 8th round game, which, you know what, by the way, that was good. Playing eighth seed on the line. Showed big defensively, credit where credit is due. But he's been a ghost, all right? He has been in a torture chamber pretty much the entire playoffs. But finally, I don't know if it was Giannis got hurt or whatever it was, eased up the matchup. But Bam showed up in this game, all right? 29, 9, and 8, nearly had a triple-double. Kevin Love had 18 points. 4 threes. That's a problem. That's not winnable basketball for you, Bucks. When K-Love is looking like, okay, that's not winnable basketball. Chris Middleton had 33. Drew had 16, 7, and 16. Portis ended up with 21 and 8, but it was not enough. This Bucks team, once again, dead in the water. Just like I said for Memphis without Ja, this Bucks team, as good as they were, number one, they are dead in the water without the Greek Freak. If he is out for a substantial amount of time, they are in trouble. Trouble. This Heat team is not to be toyed with. They are in trouble. Clippers take on the Suns. Oh boy. Russell, listen, before I talk about Kawhi and give him his flowers, Russell Westbrook, I was fully prepared. The man was, 3 for 18, 3 for 19 in this game. We were fully prepared to, be like, yo, Russ did it again. Another inefficient night, screwed it up. But then he pulled off one of the best plays of the playoffs so far with a block on Devin Booker, who was playing out of his mind. Okay, Book, who had 26 in this game, but defensively was strapping up. Was looking like prime Gary Payton out there. 4 steals, 3 blocks for Book in this game. But anyways, he drives, game on the line. I don't know why the Suns all of a sudden forgot they had Kevin Durant on the court, and we're just like, yeah, Book's the guy still, right? Give the ball to KD and get out of the way. I know it's Book, and Book is still, a great player. He's a star. But you got KD, bro. Just put the ball in KD's hands. Let him win the game. Anyways, Book drives. Russell Westbrook says, oh, wait, I'm Russell Westbrook. Makes a super athletic block, and then has the capabilities, athletically, to still get to the ball before it goes out of bounds, knock it off of Book, get the ball back, hit the free throws, call the game over. He also tried to fight a fan, so it was just a classic Russell Westbrook performance. A classic Russ performance. So no slander. Honestly, no slander. He made a great play. He can talk it for this, for this night. He can talk it. We'll see what happens next week, but he can talk it. Clippers won 115-110 in this game. Kawhi Leonard was Kawhi Leonard. He had 38. All right, this is Kawhi, man. He's averaging 50-40-90. Speaking of 50-40-90 club, because KD joined that club. Technically, I don't know if he has enough games played, but technically, he was 50-40-90. Kawhi's also been 50-40-90 over the past 20 games. So yeah, shout out to Kawhi. He had 38. Did a great job in this game for the Clippers. By the way, no Paul George. No Paul George for the Clippers, and they just beat the Suns, who are supposed to be buzzsawing through everybody. Widely are the championship favorite. And they just beat them in game 1 with no PG. With Book playing the way he did, with KD having 27, 9, and 11, and they just beat it's a statement. It's a statement. Torrey Craig, as I always say, it's a statement. Torrey Craig had 22. It didn't matter. Did not matter. The Clippers, despite Russ's best wishes, get it done. He shows up clutch, no slander. And of course, Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard. And to end off the night, we had Denver versus Minnesota. I didn't even write down a bunch of stats for this game. Jamal Murray had a very inefficient 24, 8, and 8. Joker had, I think he had a double-double, close to a triple-double, classic Joker stuff. But, this was a butchering. This game was not close. It was 70-50 something. I didn't even really watch that much of it, to be completely honest, because it was a blowout, all right? This game was not close, and as the score says, it was not close. 109-80. They dominated Minnesota. who has been going through it, by the way, after Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert situation, and then they lost, Anthony Edwards went frozen versus the Lakers. It was a rough week. It was a rough week. And, they got some hope back by getting the AFC, but then it just all went away. It just all went away in this game because Denver destroyed them. Which, you know what? Good for the Nuggets, because people have been talking crazy about them. And for them to get it back the way that they did, credit where credit is due. Jamal Murray is going to need to be bubble Jamal Murray. We've seen Spider be able to still be Spider after that series, but we haven't seen Jamal Murray on that level. If the Nuggets want to make a run, he has to be that type of Jamal Murray. So closer to what he did last night, but a little bit more efficient. But we'll see what happens. For now, Denver takes game 1. We will see what happens. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the roundup. Kyle Larson takes it at Martinsville. He takes it at the paperclip. Hendrick. As the Hendrick Motorsports is going to be Hendrick Motorsports. All right, regardless of who's out there, they're going to be Hendrick Motorsports. Chase made his return. I forget where he finished, but his teammate's the one that gets the win. Larson gets it done. I think that's his first win at Martinsville in 17 tries. So shout out to Larson. Also got named to the top 75 drivers of all time. So just a great week. It was a great week to be Kyle Larson. He gets the win at Martinsville. Let's talk NHL. Connor McJesus wins the Art Ross as expected, and the Rocket Richard as expected. Funny enough, his first ever Rocket Richard, which means he for those that don't know, led the league in scoring. That's the Art Ross. Led the league in goals. That's the Maurice Rocket Richard. So more context there, but he wins both of those. He will also probably be winning the Hart Trophy and the Lady Bing as well, so no surprise there. He's the best player on the planet. NHL playoffs start tonight. The Oilers did make the playoffs after all. They will be taking on, why this is blocked out for me, I do not know, but they will be taking on the Los Angeles Kings. We will see what happens there. Again, there will be a lot of pressure on them to make a run. You have Dry, and you have the best player on the planet. So, pressure is on. They've been playing a lot well since, the trade deadline, made some very good moves. We will see what happens, but, Oilers, big expectations. They take it on Kopitar and the Kings. You've got the Vegas Golden Knights, who are at the number 1 seed in the West. They're taking on the Winnipeg Jets. The Stars are taking on the Wild. The defending champions, the Avalanche, are taking on the Seattle Kraken. The Boston Bruins, the heavy championship favorite, take on the Florida Panthers. The Maple Leafs take on the Lightning. That's going to be a very, very interesting series. My Carolina Hurricanes are taking on the New York Islanders, which will also be a very interesting series. And then we got the Battle of New York, New Jersey, okay? The Battle of New York, New Jersey, the Devils and the Rangers, which might be the most interesting series of all with the way Jack Hughes has been playing. Luke Hughes just came up, had his first goal in the last game of the season, overtime game winner. We will see what the Hughes Bros can do against Pasta and Patrick Kane. So, not Pasta, but the Bread Man and Terry Panarin and, Patty Kane with the Rangers. We'll see how he does in the playoffs. Taves also played his last game with the Blackhawks, so that was some more NHL stuff. I think I covered everything from the NHL. And to end off episode 141, thank God, somebody finally beat the Tampa Bay Rays. I was getting terrified, okay? They were like 13-0, but finally the Blue Jays, somebody beat the Rays. However, they beat the brakes off of the Blue Jays to end the series 8-1, which is like their 8th game, scoring 8 runs. So, not the best start, even though we haven't been bad. But just the Rays have been ridiculously historically dominant, and I'm hoping this is not going to be a recurring theme this season. Or that might be a bit of a problem because once again we are in the greatest division in all of baseball, the AL Beast. And the Orioles are, it's stress. It's stress. And now Stan's out, but I guess Peraza gets to play. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But somebody finally beat the Rays. They've been scorching hard to start the season. We'll see if it continues. But for now, that is episode 41. I hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, Ocho, signing off.